Hi, my name is Giovanni Abati, or John to most people. As a former watershed planner and now the operator of Watershed Watchers, an environmental education, research, and consulting business, I want to introduce everyone to the I-Naturalist app, an amazing way to give all of us nature lovers the ability to join the world of citizen science. Simply put, public participation in scientific research. It gets anyone involved in meaningful wildlife monitoring by sharing their observations with the world. It's free, but could prove valuable for local conservation efforts. You just take pictures of any wildlife species you see, plants or animals, then you upload the images to the iNaturalist app, either with any smartphone or with your computer. The observations are then added to a global database with literally millions of sightings. Plants, trees, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, fish, insects, butterflies, you name it. They're entered, stored, and verified. Yep, that's right, verified. With thousands of individuals, including scientists and researchers in iNaturalist, many are qualified at verifying your sightings. I've been monitoring wildlife for over 30 years, taking photos, jotting down their locations and the date. The digital world and this app simplify that process with the date, the time, all stored with the image. You just record the location using their Google Map feature. iNaturalist puts more eyes in the field at any location at all hours of the day and night. Any observation may prove valuable. What is common to your property may be rare in the region or in Canada. Locally, for example, we have the Massasauga rattlesnakes at Ojibwe Prairie, the Butler's Garter snakes at the South Cameron wetland, the Fowler's toad at Ariel Beach, and the spiny soft-shelled turtle at the Thames River in London. Who knows what may be on your property? So many of us may not know these species are rare, or what they are for that matter. iNaturalists will ID them ASAP. Your data contributes to our knowledge of population sizes, species distributions, migration patterns, nesting periods, and flowering times. All this should help responsible governments and responsible industry develop sustainably. The location of ecopassages and fencing, the conservation of critical habitats, the management of our waterways and how our infrastructure affects them can all be assisted through our data. I'm going to show you how to get started and hopefully participate. Remember, it's free, easy, and could prove valuable. So to start, we're going to search on the web for the iNaturalist website. So in the URL, you type in iNaturalist. It'll give you the option for inaturalist.org or iNaturalist.ca, the international, or CA for Canadian. So you go to sign up. It asks you for your email. I've already registered, so mine's already set here. We'll just put it in, and the username. So what the username is, it's what identifies you on iNaturalist. So I'm going to show you here what it is. So this is your username. My username is Watershed Watcher. Okay, so this is when you upload an image or you do any corresponding on the website. This is what appears. So this is your ID, your handle on the web on iNaturalist. After, you can go into it. Once you create an account, you go into it and you go to the profile and then you type in whatever you want. I put my full name, some information about myself. I'll show you how to do that after. So now we're going to go back to the login spot or create an account. Okay, so then you type in a password. After you put your username in, password. So what I do at this point, so you don't forget your password, which is something I've done more than once. I get a piece of tape. I write down my password on the piece of tape, and then I have to rewrite it. So write it twice on there. You can write it once, whatever. I'm just a little too persnickety, I guess. I type it in, then I take a picture of it, and then I upload it to my computer, which I did here, or you keep it on your phone. So if you're out in the field and you forget what your password is, you just look it up on your phone, and there you go. Easy breezy. That's a lesson learned from all my previous mistakes of forgetting what my passwords are. So now we go back to the register. So after you typed in the passwords, you prove you're not a robot. Well, you say you're not a robot. And then there's two other things you need to do. So yes to licensing your photos. So here, basically what the licensing does, it allows scientists and other people on I-Naturalist to use your photos, sounds, and observations, as long as they give you credit and don't use them for any commercial purposes, which is good for research. Most of these things are related to research and scientific projects anyway, so it's nice to be a part of conservation efforts. And then here, you consent. You allow I-Naturalist basically to manage your personal information, your email address and usernames. It allows them to manage the accounts on the site in order to comply with privacy laws. They're not going to be sharing anything that the privacy laws don't allow them to do that. So after you do that, you just click on create an account, and there you go. So now I already have an account, so we're just going to take one step back. And since I already have an account, I'll get rid of this, or this out of the way. And I'm going to log in. You can use your username or your email. I used my username. I'm going to type in my password. It's well worth it. Sorry for, boring you. But anyway, it brings you into my profile here, the home page, which I'll click into my profile just to show you. So in your profile, if you want to do, basically you can do this right away, right? You edit your account, you go in here. It has your username, your email, then you type in whatever you want your name to be. And then you tell a little bit about yourself. I think I told a little too much about myself for people, but hey, no one's probably going to read it anyway, except me. Just give a brief description of yourself. Some people just put naturalist. Some people, talk about their job, they're professors or doing research projects. To put some information on there and fill out the rest of the information there. You can wait and do it later as well. So you can, there's all the I-Naturalists for different countries. With I-Naturalist Canada. You can always switch it to, like you can change it now if you want. I could go wherever. I don't know where all these are. But originally I registered on the .org site and changed it to Canada. So I'm not saving it since I already have my information saved and I don't want to make a mess of it. So I'm just going to get out of there. Okay, so now we're going to scroll through the site. So the search icon here, I'm going to click on that. So what the search icon does, you can search locations like different groups, projects, people. So, you type in, I'm going to type in my name and the database searches it. And there I am right there. You can type in projects or locations. So I'm going to type in Ojibwe. And it'll give you everything related to Ojibwe, the Ojibwe Prairie Complex, the projects involved with Ojibwe, people that might have their last name with Ojibwe in it, right? It'll do a search of everything. And you can type in species, frog or just taxa or general, and it'll give you a list of everything with frogs in it. Books, there's also field guides and things here, and part of the community, or more, Morrissey has guides there. So anything on their database that has the word frog in it, it'll search up. All right, so now we're going to go to Explore. So Explore, this calls up, these are all Canadian. These are all the Canadian sightings. So I'm on .ca, as I mentioned earlier. So this is showing you, when this is here, this orange box with Canada in it, these are all the Canadian observations. So there's 2 million observations, more than 2 million, of 23,000 species, 19,000 identifiers, and 61,000 observers. So I'm one of the 61,741 observers. This identifiers are people that, if you put a sighting up and people verify it, so someone posted this double-crested cormorant, and if I was to go and click on it and say, yes, that is a double-crested cormorant, I would be an identifier. Whoever verifies your sightings is an identifier. I've never done it because I don't trust my knowledge of anything. Okay, so if you click the X in the Canada box, now it gives you the global, the world sightings. So here's on this database. What an amazing database. The amount of information stored on here is just amazing. So there's 36 million observations, almost 37 million observations globally of 274,000 species, the same with the identifiers and observers. And there you go. That shows you all the different quadrants of where the sightings are. Looks like, the majority of the sightings are in the USA. The darker squares quadrants are where obviously there's more observations. Okay, so now we did explore and it showed you the world and Canada. Now we're going to go to your observations. And your observations, well, really, they're not your observations, they're my observations. But anyway, so we're at my observations. I just started it. I've only been on it for a month and I haven't had a lot of time to upload all my images yet that I have. I've got quite a bit of history of images that I'm going to check out. So anyway, so I've done 24, I've put in 24 observations of 19 different species. And there's 49 people have helped verify my species. And I'm the only observer. If I was to create a project, then anyone that's in my project would be listed here. So there, hopefully there'd be more than just me. Hopefully people are interested in the project I create, but I haven't created one. So so here's my species right here. And what happens when you hit your observations, it actually shows on this map where all my sightings are. They're all listed on here. So I've had, can just click and drag. Okay, let me get that out of there. So see, here's around the Windsor area. That's where most of my sightings are. I have one in Ohio and the other ones in Nova Scotia where previously lived. So this map, if I only had sightings locally, then the map would only show this area. It just shows the extent of all your sightings. So that's why the map is so far out. And here are my sightings here. It goes from the last one I entered, which was a yellow-rumped warbler I entered yesterday, and then so on. Right? And you can just scroll down through all your observations. It keeps them all. And so, they don't have to be live. So these are roadkills because there's projects in I-Naturalist specifically dealing with roadkill. And their species, even dead species are valuable information to prove that those species were in the area, have been found in the area, migrate in the area, right? It's all depending on what your research project is or why you want to know. You want to find out migration patterns, where the species nest, depending on the time of year that you find the species. It's all relevant and valuable information. So there's my species there. Then you can actually click it. Oops, I guess this is the site gives you. Then you click on species and it'll give you a list of all the species that I've submitted, with killdeer being the most, 3 observations. It goes in and red-tailed hawk. It lists it in order of the number of those species, from most sightings to most observations to least. And the identifiers, these are people that have identified my sightings. And this person's identified 3 of my sightings, and it's the same. If he identified 6, he'd be at the top. If he'd be identified 1, he'd be lower on the list, and I'm the only observer. All right, so now we're going to go to community. So people are just all the people in I-Naturalist Canada. And it goes from the most recent entry. So this gentleman, Sean Blaney, or that's his username anyway, he was the most recent person to upload an image. And this person, so that was 4 minutes ago. Also 4 minutes ago was this person. 12 minutes ago was this person. Projects. You can search projects or you can start a project. So you can search any project you want and then you can join it. So let's see, I'll do the Ojibwe. I'm already a member of it, but right, you type in Ojibwe and anything dealing with Ojibwe. There's the Ojibwe Prairie Complex, the BioBlitz, Provincial Park, which I didn't know there was one, but anyway, right, it'll pop up. Journal posts, or if you're doing any work on any project, you can, or if you have questions, you just post it and, everyone can access it and see if there's any questions or anything. And then you can reply, or you can get some information if you have a question. People will reply to you and give you information. The forum's the same if you're a member of any project. You can join their forums dealing with specific projects. Okay, so here are my, well, okay, so anyway, and then there's my recent projects here. You can see my recent projects. So by doing, you can go here. The best way to do that is going in your little account here, and you just projects, and it'll give you a list. This is the list of all my projects right here, everything I'm involved with. And there's many more. You can do whatever you want. Those ones are just the recent ones I have because I've been in Ontario, Nova Scotia, so um, I joined some of their projects. I haven't joined a lot yet. Identify. Okay, so identify is if you want to go people that have uploaded their images, so you can click on these. If you know that that's the cormorant, you can click on it and identify it just to help them out, and you become identifier. Like I said, I don't feel confident in my knowledge, so I don't do it. You can search guides here. If you don't know what species you have, you can click a guide and it'll give you, if you want to find out what frog or anything you want, you go to Ontario, there's 23 guides here and you can, go and search whatever species you want. All right, and this is basically the your account info, where you can edit your calendar. Show you the calendar is kind of neat. So it's not the date you put in the data, but it's actually the date that you observe that species from the data that you type in. So I observed this house sparrow, which is nesting on my property. And that was on March 19th. So now we're gonna upload some images here. So you go to the upload icon, hit upload, choose files, and I'm gonna have to scroll through, find out where my images are. Yeah. You can upload more than one image. You can upload more than one image of the same species if you want. So I'm gonna open that one, upload it, and so it just uploaded it into the editing screen. So I'm gonna add another photo. I'm gonna upload the same species. It's also good to put something beside the species for relevant size, if you're able to. I mean, depending on what the species is. Unfortunately, some of the things I've observed were roadkills or dead, like some moths and things. So it was easy to put something beside it. This was alive. The newt was alive, but just to show size. And then also it's nice to get images of, front, top, back, different angles of it. So it's easier to verify because some species have key markings, birds specifically. If you can get a front shot, a top shot, like this bird here. So I'm just showing you, I'm uploading, but I'm just going to upload for 2 images for now. Just, right. 2 observations, I should say, but 5 images. So, okay, there we go. So also, so now these are the same species. It's the actual same observation. It just that one has a back shot, one has a front shot. So now what you do, you join them. You're going to make it as one submission, one observation, just 2 photos with it. So whatever you drag over it. So if I'm dragging this, the one where I drag it to is the one that's going to be, is the photo that's going to show. So I'm dragging this over top. So, right. So this image that I'm dragging is going to be underneath the other image. So there we go. It's whatever image you want, to show is the one you leave. So you drag this one over and drag this one over. Whoops. I'm dragging this one over because I want the one with the bottle cap to be my primary image. So there you go. So here's a great feature as well. When you're going to enter the species name, so if you don't know what it is, So say you don't know what this is, I-Naturalist will offer you suggestions, right? It'll tell you it's a salamander. You can just put general salamander. Mine's a red spotted newt, but maybe I'm wrong. So I'm just going to leave it. Well, it might be an easterner. I'm just going to leave it as overall as a salamander. And then people will verify it. I think it's a red spotted newt, though. I'm going to type it in. So you can also type it in. Red spotted newt. There you go. Eastern newt, red spotted newt. So that's what I think it is. Now, the problem is that the metadata isn't real because the metadata relates to me scanning the image. So I have the date that I saw this, and it goes way back 10 years ago. Oh, it actually has it. Interesting. 2008, July 20th, 7 July, but it was July 20th. Let's see, maybe. So July 20th is when I signed it. Verify that. Yes. So July 20th. I don't know the time that I saw it, but there you go. So that's my sort my location. So when you hit the location, it brings up Google Map. You just type in the location, the Otter Lake, and Resource Facility, Kimberly. It'll bring you to the area. There it is. There's the landfill. So this is the area where I found it. This is the Otter Lake landfill, Halifax's waste management facility. I bring my circle tighter, and I found it on the access road, which is this road here, but further down. So just zoom out, where I think I saw it approximately, and I'm going to say oops. I zoomed out too far. Let's say right around here. Oh. So it's right around this area on the access road is where I found it. And now I'm just gonna make the circle a little smaller and just update that observation. And for description, I say on the road. That's that one. This bird here. It's going to suggest some things for me. And I also know what this is because I've already looked it up. Warbler. The date is correct. I just this is actual date. The date at the time and location is correct. I got it off of my. It was actually done with a digital camera, so that's all correct. The metadata. And now the location. So I'm gonna put the location was South Cameron Woodlot in Windsor. And that was South Cameron Woodlot. which is where we got it. I'm going to shrink down the circle a little bit. I'm going to zoom out. I want to find where I am exactly. And somewhere over. Zoom in now. It's random. Yes, I put somewhere over in this little area here. There you go. And you update that observation. And that was feeding in the wetland is my description. So now you just submit the two observations and to save them. And they've been added to my list, chronological order from the last one that I submitted. So I'm gonna look at my observations. They've now been added to the top of my list. And I'm gonna go look at Explore to see if they've been added in the Canada list yet. So no, they haven't been added yet, but eventually they'll come to the main page here with all the Canadian observations when it gets refreshed, I guess. Sometimes it's slower, sometimes it pops there right away. But that's it. So those are my observations. So here's if anyone's sending you emails or back and forth. This is just the identifiers. Click on it. So this person verified one of my sightings. Midland painted turtle. Like many people have verified it. Yeah, Midland painted turtle. I didn't know what it was. So anyway, as well, you're here. So this is my yellow-rumped warbler, and this person, John 8, verified it. So then you can look. So here's John. This is the person that verified my observation. Active birder, naturalist. It's just amazing, right? These are people all across the world. So this gentleman, I currently reside back in my hometown of La Crescenta in the Los Angeles foothills. So that's the gentleman that verified my sighting. Thank you so much. And you can send him a message and say, thanks for verifying my sighting. You don't have to do this. I'm just feeling joyous. Okay, so that's basically it. That's the whole deal. That's how you do it. And let's see if my sightings have been put up there. No, they're still not there. Oh well. Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. I just uploaded the image. And remember that it's always best. It's nice if you can give some kind of a reference when you upload. We're going to check some of my observations just so you see what I mean. So with the newt, there's a little bottle cap that helps give a little size description. You can put that in your description as well. Also, the indigo bunting here was over in Devon Woods and conservation area on the road. So, road kills right there. This is Devon Woods in the back here, and it was found on the road. And so as a project, one of the projects is data automatically goes to this group here, and they're involved with road kills for everywhere, mostly North America. But projects, you can link up to projects and then they get your data and it helps them do their research. So there's that. So the idea of road kills, you can still submit those. And like I mentioned earlier about the bottle cap there, I also, this moth, I put a key with it just so they can identify, because some species may look the same, but they're just different sizes. So that's helping in identifying what species it is. I mean, you don't have to have a ruler or yardstick. It's great if you do, but anything can help just to show. Um, Here's another moth, and I just use I use the Tim's card with it, right? That's the size of the moth. Okay, so that's pretty much it, I guess. Hope you sign up. Simple, easy. Hope I didn't bore you. Let's see now if yeah. So mine haven't been listed up there yet, but anyway. So there we are. So I hope you learned something. I hope you join up. Um, you know, any photograph can help. Like I said, what's on your property, no one really knows, other than you or your family or people that, no one knows what's on my property. It's not like I have people out here checking it out, but it all helps, especially if they're planning on developing an area. When they do environmental assessments, researchers and scientists or consultants only have access to that property during certain time frames. So knowing that the neighborhood people in the area take take photographs and submit it. As a researcher, I'd go to the I-Naturalist site and I can see all the different sightings for that area within the study area, whether it's on the specific property or surrounding it, especially related to birds. Well, most species, they don't go by political boundary. They don't. It's not like a home where you have your property. Species obviously cross borders and properties. So any little bit helps. Don't be shy. Even the simplest thing could prove important conserving a piece of property. Or, you know, we're not about. I'm not about anti development, but we need to do things properly, as we've seen with the fights with Ojibwe for the eco passages and protecting areas locally. We don't have a lot in Windsor Essex County. We don't have much woodlot, and it's all basically all in the West End. All it takes is one forest fire, one insect infestation, one natural hazard, tornado. It can wipe out, a majority of our natural spaces and places here in Essex County, Windsor Essex County. So every little bit helps. And happy birding, happy trails. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned. Give me, always give me a call, text if you want. Send me an email. Let me know what you thought, and hope you get involved. Thanks. Bye.